Okay, folks, welcome back. Somebody already here, chomping at the bit. Happy Monday evening. There's something nobody says. Happy Monday. North Hole. I'm gonna pick up back where we left off here. Got a little bit of coffee. Got a little bit of soda. We should be good to go. Okay. So last time we did a lot of stuff yesterday. We did a lot of stuff. We dry brushed the core color on all these U.S. vehicles. And we added decals. It doesn't sound like that much stuff. Harumph! You see all of Drab? I click. I'm a simple person. Yeah. Yeah, you would have been really disappointed if it had been like, girls in olive drab bikinis or something like that. Nah, that'd probably be alright too. Welcome. Yeah, it just sounded like we didn't do a lot of stuff, but it takes time. I mean, we was on for probably 6 hours, over 6 hours yesterday. So we did do quite a bit of progress. And, just adding the decals on there, there's still some markings that we're going to end up having to do on them. But that's the ones that involve the decals on there. Hey, Justin, welcome back. We got that's what you look like. Well, I can't really tell. That's your little icon. Some people put icons that aren't them. Yeah. Got one of them beanies, or they got a funny name for them in Canada. Torques, something like that. I don't know. I don't want to give in to their name calling of different things. So that's that. We're going to go ahead and do the tracks on this vehicle and paint a few tools on it. I think that's what we'll do. And let's work on finishing these three. Okay? Leave the Stewies for a little later. It's you. Okay. Yeah, some people pick up like, a picture of Taylor Swift or something like that. It's like, wishful thinking. Okay. Right. So we're going to need some of this. We're going to need not the 125s, but the 375s. There we go. And the track color. There it is. SS Camo Black, or how it's affectionately known as German Camouflage Black Brown. So yesterday, I didn't come on in the evening, did I? No. I did go to the Sissyfoot Central, also known as the game store, and picked up, they had 2 strong tones left, and picked those up. So now we've got that little bit of the one, and we got 2 replacement ones. So we should be in good shape. And I tried to peruse over there, but it's just such a weird environment. It's just a weird environment. People that play games just keep getting weirder and weirder. Social skills on Armadillo. So, I don't consider myself a gamer, because if that's what gamers are like, yeah, I'm not one of them. I walked into this store, there was even a midget there. I'm like, I haven't seen a midget in real life since When was the last time I went to the circus? And there was a midget at the game store playing a role playing game. You never know what you'll see. So I don't like going there because it's just a strange environment. I'd much rather go to some place like Hobby Lobby or whatever where there's always attractive people there. Even Nordic would agree. Hey, Nordic, you're not a gamer. You just like to build models. Yeah. Yeah. I got to shower every day, man. First thing I look forward to when I get home is showering. None of this, oh, I don't know when I showered last. What the hell's wrong with you? Or, don't wear deodorant or that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. What are you agreeing about? There's just I ended up going to the hobby store. Well, not the hobby store, the game store. It's not a hobby store. A hobby store is ate up with like old gray-haired people, which I guess technically I'm one of them or whatever. But I went to the what did I call it? The Sissy Foot Central, and picked up 2 bottles of Strong Tone, and I saw some strange cats there. Even saw a midget. There's nothing wrong with seeing a midget or a little person or whatever the hell they want to be called. I'm old school. They're a midget. I got nothing against them, but you don't see them out in the wild. You know, they don't feel safe to be out in the wild, but somehow in a game store they feel at home. So I said I'd rather go to some place like Hobby Lobby where there's attractive people in there. There's always attractive girls in Hobby Lobby. At least the one here. Or normal looking people. Maybe midgets don't come out in the wild until they see people with blue hair. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, man. That's what happens when you don't bully people, man. I was bullied as a kid in middle school. I don't wear 2 different color socks. You'd get an atomic wedgie if you try to pull shit like that. Just straighten your ass right up. Not shy about telling people in a game store who smell to go discover the owner and stay downwind from me. I don't want to play in the games. I don't want to play in a game shop. Them people are weird. Anyone trying to give me an atomic wedgie will be getting it. Well, you ought to know better than to, misbehave. Learn your social cues. Yeah, if you pulled that shit in the 80s, man, when we grew up, I identify as a tree. Well, I identify as a lumberjack. Bam! You just get your ass beat. Nah, it's fine. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you, you're setting yourself up for not being for being a problem in the real world. You know. grew up in the 90s. I was 7 at the end of the 80s. See, I was 8 at the end of the 70s. So, right? Or 9. One of those two. 8. How about 8.5? Split the difference. Now, one thing, I honestly, sometimes you encounter something, you don't have a clue what the hell it is. Okay? And here's one of those things. You're going to step away for a few minutes, need to make something to eat, trying to summon the nerd burglar. He's been asleep. And right now, he's got some cold, swirly weather all over him. The middle of the U.S. is frozen. There are some things on the side of this M8 howitzer motor carriage that look like spare tracks, but I don't think that they are. And those same type of things are on the Stewart. So I need to make sure what they are before I go and make a decision. Oh yeah, he's digging himself out of some snow for sure. Now look at the U.S. It's split. You're either getting rained on or you're getting snowed on. Okay, let's go and see if we can find a picture of this in color. M8. How it's HMC. I have a feeling it's the back side of the tracks, but here it is. Yeah. Like the back side of the tracks on there, so. All right. So we're going to paint these the same color. I use this really dark brown. It seemed to work pretty well. That way it's kind of like, it's like metallic, but it's also, like old rust on it. Old oxidation. Now, unfortunately, the part where the decal's placed looks a little shiny, but that'll all go away. That's what I thought the first time. It's like, man, I did everything. I added the gloss coat, and I added the microset, and it still looks like it's going to get all shiny. It doesn't. After you add the final flat coat on it, it'll all go away. Okay. These don't have any tools on them. Well, they do. They have a little shovel there. That's cute. Okay. And this one had some tools that, for whatever reason, I didn't paint them yesterday. No big deal. I'm not going to get pulled off into the Stewarts just yet. Let's just work on this stuff. Mr. Landschneck, welcome. From Arizona stand, the land of, I don't care what you guys do to the time zone, we're not going to change it. You guys don't observe daylight savings time or nothing. We should take after you. That was the case. I don't know if it's still the case anymore. That the state motto of Arizona is like, I hope you like Mexican. Welcome to Arizona. I hope you like Mexican food. I can only imagine there's a lot of Mexican food there because when I went to Colorado, I was floored how much Mexican food there was in Colorado. I just figured it was like, oh, that's going to be like steak and potato land, you know? Not Mexican food. Nope. Colorado was ate up with Mexican food. Which, you know, I'm a bit tired of. Okay, so a couple things that I need to do, and one of them is, let's rinse this bad boy out. We refuse to change our clocks. You guys are smart, man. I don't care which time they pick. Just pick one and just leave it alone. Now at least it's getting darker a little bit later by like a minute every day. But that's just annoying. I figure the reason they came up with it, the federal government came up with it, that way you could hire, 4,000 people just to manage that. There could be more people that could, work for them. Okay, here's the serial number. And I'm going to go ahead and attempt to paint. I've got to get a really small brush for this. A brush we have extreme confidence in. And let's get my favorite color that I like to pronounce, the white. White. And how many digits is it? 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay. So my plan is to make it look like there's digits there, but not necessarily telling which ones it is. Because I don't want the digit Nazis to come after me and say, that's not the right digit number for that vehicle. I don't have a month to realize to research what number it could possibly be. Yes, and there's people like that. And no, they're not fun at parties. And if this doesn't work, then I'm just going to put some chicken scratching. And we're going to dry brush over that. So it just needs to kind of have an inkling. I thought you were painting olive drab. It's olive drab stuff. Yep, they're already painted. It's olive drab vehicles. What do you do? 3011 321. Let's try to make it the same. 3011 321. It's right over a flash mark. So that's good enough for me. We're going to end up dry brushing over that. Mix yellow and black paint together, you get all the drab. I thought I read somewhere it was orange. That probably does it as well. It's not the prettiest of colors. There's no doubt about it. Okay. We have some tools to paint here. And they're pretty small. This is the end of a hammer. End of an axe. Let's just work on the M8 for now. The howitzer motor carriage. Let's see if we've got any markings in yellow to make this guy individual. Here's a 3-9, but it's right in the way of where that star is. It really seems to be the exception for marquees on here. Well, okay. Laxative, as a name of laxative. I'll leave it without markings on it. It's fine. It seems to be more common than not. Okay. I think that's it. We'll paint the little wood bits later. We've got some tail lights. That's after we do the weathering. One thing I must do I don't think any of the remnants are going to work for this. They're too small. You look at a remnant. What do I know? Do the Stewarts fit on here? Barely. Okay, that one's wider. There should be some consistency in size because they're all remnants. I try to keep all the bases the same. for the vehicles. So I'd like all these Stewart-based vehicles to be on the same width base. See, that one's a little shorter. Or I can just cut up new ones, but it's an opportunity to use up ones that have already been have leftover pieces. As I do have a finite amount of this stuff. This is a material that's they no longer have it work. Okay, so that one's wide enough, but these other ones are not. This should work for the armored cars. Okay, that's one for that armored car. Narrower. This is the same one. That armored car can go there. I just don't have another one that's the same width as this. So I don't mind leaving this for something else because, well, this should work. This should work just fine. This should work just fine. Let's just do that. And then we'll have a big piece left over for something else. Let's confirm that this is the size that we want. We don't want something a little wider because I'm going to make them all the same. Is this half of this base? Because if it's half of it, that would also work as well. Let's get my little... Let's do this. Let's take two of these. And let's cut this exactly in half. Score this a couple times. Perfect. And then width-wise, that's where we'll have it. Okay? Chimichangas were invented right here in Tucson. Well, that's Tex-Mex. And I prefer Tex-Mex. Chimichanga, yeah, I like a chimichanga. We were in the store the other day. I had to pick up some salsa for something I was doing. And I asked my wife and daughter, see if they knew what the flavor salsa that I disliked, if they knew. My daughter didn't know. My wife remembered. And I don't like tomatillo. And I don't like tomatillo not because it's tomatoes. I love tomatoes, unless you turn them into ketchup. It should taste better than it does. It's really kind of lame. The stuff that's really good, and I didn't really know about it until I went to Colorado, is that Hatch chili stuff. That's a great taste. I don't really like tomatillo. I don't really like enchilada sauce. Something about that. Chipotle is hit or miss. Sometimes it tastes good, sometimes it doesn't. It's a taste issue for me. I can handle any kind of heat. So can my daughter. My wife likes spicy food as well, but she's not as excited about being tortured as we are. I may need one more piece to do the cross part on the end. Let's take a look, because we're not going to need them this long. We don't want them this long. And I don't want an arbitrary number. I want something that means something. Trying to get the engineering scale that matches, because this is the all engineering scale little thing. This is a little metal ruler that I picked up from some company that was giving them out at my workplace. Okay, I think if I cut 1/2 inch off this, that should be about right. But it's also just as easy to go by sight. These are all remnants. Now, there you go. Now these other ones, we'll just line them up and cut them off. I'll take things you hear from a moil for 1,000, please. Wife just got home. Time for me to put some T-bones on the grill. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by again. And if you're going to do that, make sure you always use the same pattern. Because if you start using, if you end up cutting one and then you use the one you cut as a pattern, eventually they're going to start changing size. They're going to start drifting. so these are the three that go on the Stewart type vehicles. The M8 is a Stewart vehicle. Of course, we're going to round the corners. Okay. And then we'll do the same thing with these armored cars. And it's probably going to be the same length. Oops. Let's see here. That seems right. So let's see, I should be able to just line this up in the corner. Nope, not like that. I'm not going to be able to. The corner. And people are really trying to get me to make one of them a video that I don't want to make. There's a guy that I got an email from today, and I don't know how he managed to get me to check my email, which is, I don't use email hardly at all for personal. It's just really inconvenient. And he was asking what my opinion on was running on a triple DBA army, and I'm like, dude, I haven't played DBA in over a year. How do you not know that? It's somebody that supposedly was following my Canadian trip on Facebook. That's what he said. Like, how do you not know that I'm not playing DBA anymore? But I do not want to waste my time making it. It wouldn't be a negative video. You know, I don't want people to think, hey, listen, you don't play DBA? You're going to take your videos down? No, I'm not. I'm not going to take down the DBA videos that we made. We made them in good conscience, you know. And I don't hate the game or anything. It's time to move on. Okay, so now we need to do some corner cutting. Let's get this out of the way, and that way we can goop these and let them sit there so we can hopefully attach them to the stand tomorrow. That'd be pretty cool. I'm a lot happier being able to work on whatever the hell I feel like, not what I gotta get done for an event. I'm never going back to that method of, I got to get this done by a certain time. Nope. I'll find another hobby. Fuck it. Maybe if I was retired or something like that and I didn't have any things that were expected of me, but I got enough work. You're back with food. miss it one bit. I don't miss doing all that work. And then people come up with excuses why they didn't show up. Fuck them. You run the tournament. The group started to get more and more people that were retired. Those people need to pick up the slack. And it's got really tired of reminding people, hey, you coming to the show? When's the show? When the fuck you think the show is? It's always the last weekend of April and the last weekend of September. Always. Uh-oh. You had a lot to say. Here we go. You had to unsub from a channel. Nothing wrong with that. Before I popped on here. Okay. You got dogpiled on by several vocal idiots who didn't like that I said I stopped watching football after a national anthem protest. I'm with you, man. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with your reaction to it. I said I refuse to support a sport that allows players to cry about social inequality. You get paid millions to play a child's game, and most of them do nothing to help those communities. Well, pissed off two individuals who were top contributors on a live stream, and I said, screw this bullshit, and I unsubbed. You don't tell me what group it is so I can subscribe to it, just so I can unsubscribe to it. I'm with you all the way, man. I don't watch football because people that watch football don't know shit about wargaming. When football players start giving a shit about military history, then I'll listen. Yeah, you shouldn't have to put up with that crap. I like it. You're old school like me. Fuck them. Go buy them a kite to fly up their ass. You know, these people that decry anything that was normal 30 years ago, but somehow we have to support the weirdness. Because, you know, I'm up for anybody do whatever the hell they want, right? But I'm not going to support your freedom of, you know, being able to identify as a fucking tree if you get offended by the flag of the United States. Like, you know, it's almost kind of like anything goes except whatever's in a Norman Rockwell painting. It just gets freaking old. It's like, you know, why don't you just go somewhere else? You know? Just like, you know, if I got to play with a bunch of weirdos, I don't mean nerdy people. Everybody's nerdy. Even these people, oh, I'm not nerdy, I play sports. Yeah, you know all the stats of how far somebody ran with a freaking turkey under their arm, okay? You're a freaking nerd too. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who don't wear deodorant, people that are just freaks of nature. You know, I don't need to play games badly enough to have to, you know, put up with that kind of stuff. People that have bad attitudes, like, I don't want to play a game with somebody who has a bad attitude. You know? And then these people that are, I picked up some white. Oh, good, I didn't track it all over the world. I moved out of a neighborhood that had maybe 150 houses in it. And I think of the 150 houses, there was one house, maybe two, and it was a veteran that had a flag flying from their flagpole. I'm not saying you have to do that. You have to support the country, but don't be anti this country and live here. That didn't happen in the 80s. This neighborhood, every house has a flagpole, and the first thing I bought was a flag. I don't agree with everything this country's done or does, but it's just a different, just a different lifestyle. The bullshit part is two people who before that point were nice dudes. Well, they were just pretending to be somebody else. The Hex Encounter Wargaming channel and the mods were not shutting them off when they should have and warned me instead, so I said, fuck that. Yep, no equal play. Bro, these two are older than you are and pulling this crap. Nope, that doesn't fly with me. I can deal with bad smells, but when you start complaining about dice rolls and being a poor sport, I'm done with that crap. Absolutely. You need to find humor in when things go sideways for you. And you have to have honorable players. You have to have honorable players that realize that they're whooping your ass because you're rolling like crap and they're rolling well. And if they don't have that attitude, you don't need to play a game with them. And that, most people aren't that way. I've been pretty fortunate, but you know how you set that? You have to set the same standard. You have to okay, listen, this is how I play. We play all cocked dice. Playing with cocked dice aren't a problem as long as you consistently play with them. But none of this, you call them when they work for you and not, no. That's like, we're going outside with broadswords and going to resolve this in the parking lot. That's some dishonorable crap. I don't put up with that stuff. But, you got to set that tone, and it's like, I can walk away from this. I don't have to play with anybody here, So, nice. Okay. Perfezione. All right, and I don't know if that's Italian. That's my pseudo-Italian. I only speak 2 languages, but I make fun of a whole bunch of other ones. I think I could get 2 out of here. Maybe. I had to deal with a lot of that on my gaming time for miniatures as a byproduct of Games Workshop players coming in historical gaming that people had a game with. I don't want to play with any Games Workshop players. I know their ilk. There might be some nice people out there that play it, but There's a guy, a friend of mine, one of the guys that I game with, he also games in another town, and this other town was running an event. I forget what it was. Let's call it Battletech. I don't think it was Battletech. I think it was something else. And they had pictures of this event that I noticed that my buddy was at. And I looked at the other players that he was playing with, and one guy was wearing a shirt that had a hammer and sickle on it. And I'm like, I'd have to say something to that motherfucker. I'm just, I just have to, And he wasn't playing Russians, okay? Which, if you're playing Russians and you've got a, yay Stalin or whatever, okay, it doesn't bother me. I understand why you're doing it, but just some random person wearing, Che Guevara stuff or, And I say that because nobody would wear Hitler stuff. That's wrong on so many levels. But somehow you get a pass when you're wearing some other murderer. Nope, I don't want to play with people like that. Sorry. I don't need to play bad enough. Can we get 2 out of here? a bunch of little ones here. Maybe we could put them to work. I don't mind putting 2 pieces on there. So I told him, I said, who's that guy? Did you say something to him? No, I said, I wouldn't be able to not say something to him. If you play Russians, I insist on wearing the funny hat and talking weird accents. Yeah, this guy was wearing a communist shirt just because that's what he's wearing every day. Sounds like somebody's going on vacation on the Gulag if it's so fucking great. That same person would be offended by the American flag. Look, this country hasn't done perfect stuff, but I do funny accents. If that offends somebody, well, then I don't really want to play with that person. That's what we used to do in the 80s. And we didn't have people shooting up schools and stuff like that. One time I was lectured about the moral high ground by a dipshit wearing SSP dot camouflage, and I flat out told him, take that SS bullshit off before you address me on let alone morals. I have one of those little caps that I bought way back in the day of I probably got it 30 years ago. Back when they used to send U.S. cavalry catalogs. I don't know, are they still in business? And they had a bunch of like reproduction stuff. It wasn't original, it was a reproduction one. And I just got it I wanted to get that was before the internet. And I wanted to see what the pattern was to put on some SS troops. And I never did anything with it. And, I don't walk around and march it. It's got no insignia on it. Okay. Now, let's get the scooper and the gooper. Oh shit, I gotta order some of this stuff. Let's do that right now. Because I'm almost out of this stuff, and I was supposed to do that last time. So let's go to who the hell mentioned me in a comment? Okay. So we're going to go to Amazon. Vallejo. Rough gray pumice. What's it going for these days? $15.17. I purchased it in January 2023. So it lasted me a year. And I've put it on a lot of vehicles. Get it in 2 days. I purchased it twice. Okay. Look how much gas I saved by not going to a bunch of stores that didn't have it. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot in there. Let's get my tool out here. Don't get excited. This helps keeping some of this stuff off of you. Oh! Tuck, tuck, tuck. I don't know if this is necessary. I've done it every time. Might as well be consistent. Just rough the surface up so I get a better purchase of the goop on there. There can be madness, but there's got to be method. You have the brown texture paste that I'm going to use on my bases going forward. Excellent. Yeah, this is a really cool product. I was perfectly happy with Liquitex, but it was not sustainable. Yes, I'm ruining the earth by making a bunch of these things on here. Never mind where your Tesla batteries go. I'm ruining the earth by this stuff. All right. Putting goop on the base. Take 2. Action. Yeah, we're getting real scarce down here. Nordic, what do you think about the Pacific Theater in World War II? You interested in it? You ambivalent? There's certain parts of it that you like? It almost seems like another war to me. Okay, that bullshit earlier called IBS cramps. I like the Pacific Theater and would like the game, especially the land fights. I'd like to know more about like Burma and stuff like that. I wouldn't want a game like the island hopping stuff. That just, one side has too many toys and the other side has to like hunker down. It's like how you'd like to be. You've got total air superiority. You've got naval gunfire. You got tanks, and the other guy doesn't. It's like, but Burma might be okay. I wouldn't want to do something that wasn't any combined arms. I did play a game of, let's see, what's it called? Chain of Command. And we were Japanese against, I think it was Australians. In, shit, I don't remember where it was. Might have been on New Guinea. They had some Matildas. They had 3 Matildas. And you just can't deal with Matildas if you're the Japanese. You gotta hope they run out of gas, or it doesn't matter that they have a 2-pounder gun and they have no HE. Just pretend it doesn't have a gun. How about an impregnable mass that has a machine gun in it, or because it doesn't have a whole machine gun. A Matilda's another one of those things like the Spitfire. I don't know anybody who doesn't like Matildas. Doesn't mean I want to be in one. I'm just saying that they just have a unique aura about them. Not much left of this. So hopefully I don't need to do more of that in 2 days before that material comes in. All right, I'm gonna go wipe this down. I'll be right back. Mr. Skylab, welcome. You're afraid you missed what you were talking about? Oh, I was just talking about going to clean this thing. No, I was talking about the Matilda. Matilda's one of those things. A Matilda tank is one of those things. In my experience, it's kind of like the Spitfire. Just about everybody likes them. You know, they're just something iconic about it. You know, something iconic about the old Matilda. What'd I do? Miss one? This doesn't make sense. There's two. What, I can't count now? 1, 2, 3. No, I missed one. Dick mother. I swear, every time I put on glasses, I get this tunnel vision. You know? I get a case of the mole man. I can't see anything out here. Tank Duel. I saw somebody playing that. I didn't care for it because it was one of these, one of these, one of these, and one of these, but maybe with the right people. Can't you just play World of Tanks? And there's no infantry in that either. I'm still old school in the fact that I don't like when they make board games that the boards aren't mounted. I know that's standard to cut costs, but and I'd still put plexi on them, but I don't know. I like mounted map boards. I grew up with them. You just completed the entire Pacific War and signed victory, trying to learn flying colors under the Southern Cross. You like the Matilda, but the cavities on the side skirts kind of bug me. I don't even notice them, but have you ever seen a picture of that running gear without the sides on it? Man, what a disaster that is. It's like the Churchill. That's got to be a shit show to work on that thing. Some of these vehicles, you'd be like, man, it must have been a nightmare to work on them. The inner 11 road wheels that like the Panther and stuff had. What a pain in the ass that is. And I was reading somewhere the life expectancy on some of these engines was like 600 miles or something like that. So after 600 miles, you're going to have to replace the freaking engine. What a pain in the ass. What a pain in the ass. Okay, so we got the M8 howitzer motor carriage. It's time to weather this bitch. I'm going to grab the old U.S. Field Drab. Let's get rid of this card that has already caused trouble inadvertently. And Iraqi sand. There's no sand like Iraqi sand. And a dry brush that needs to be abused somewhat. Banish all their fears. Never heard of it. I wish more board games were ported to computer. I'd play them. I don't mind the fact that they're board games. I just don't want to play them wrong. You know, as I've gotten older, I just don't have a lot of interest in rummaging over the. I don't know if it's gotten older or had to do so much of it with DBA or both. It's probably both. I'd rather do something else. Problem with solitaire games, I just don't want to play it solitaire. I'm bored if it's just me. Nobody to talk to about really cool things that happen. Like they weren't there. They don't get it. Have you bought a game recently that was just trash that you wish you'd never bought them? I'm not saying ever, because we all have. And what I did with a number worked great. Putting something there that's not really noticeable exactly what it is. Of course, the back is dusty as all get out. Lately, I've been waiting to buy games to have enough recommendations, or played it myself. Yeah, you don't want to get stuck with one that is crap, because they're not cheap. It's nothing for a game to be like $70, right? You do a lot of research in the games, buy it for it. I do regret buying Hitler's Last Gamble. Not a Bolt fan, and the game is old and can't seem to play it. Not a Bolt fan either. Hitler's Last Gamble, I can almost picture what the cover of it looks like. And I just picture something like Rise and Decline in a Third Reich, a game I will never play again. And it's really annoying when it's a game you really don't like, and one of the few people that you game with, it happens to be their favorite game, and it's like, and every time you play it, it's worse. You know, I just absolutely hated Rise and Decline in a Third Reich. It's boring, ugly to look at, takes forever for your turn to come over. It has make-believe ships with no names on them. The land units are the same way. And it's a strategic game. I'm not a strategic guy. I prefer tactical stuff. You know, I don't want to be the dictator of a nation. I'm perfectly happy being, you know, a lieutenant or a captain. You know, the role of that. I know I'm the exception. Most people want to, you know, have short man complex. Try 4 times play again, 4 times. Actually, Patton is on the cover with binoculars. Huh. What's the game you bought you've been the most surprised by? Like you thought it was going to be good and it was just superb. It like, if you'd known this game was this good, you would have bought it sooner. You'd have played it sooner. Certainly there's got to be something out there like that. I mean, there's just some games that you enjoy, but the mechanics just make you want to hate yourself. Like, oh man, what's that one called? That everybody that is really really popular, but it's really abstract, and a lot of people don't like it because it has abstract vehicles. That part doesn't bother me. What bothers me is you don't roll dice. That's just an unforgivable offense. Don't want to be a dictator. I don't want to be a dictator. Silent victory, huh? What's that game that everybody? Well, I can search for it now. I really wanted to like it, and I just can't get over not rolling dice. I just can't do it. Um, GMT, World War II tactical game. Combat Commander. Combat. I really wanted to like Combat Commander, and I just don't like it. I just can't handle not rolling dice. Not rolling dice and also pulling a card that is like an awesome card, but you don't get to use it because it gets used for a die roll thing on there. It's like, oh, not for you. 43 didn't want to get into initially because a small game got in October, fell in love with the game engine. Played Target tonight today. It's absurd on the dice rolling, the chart looking. It makes it not seem fun. Ooh, too much dice rolling. You do like combat. I can't handle the no dice rolls. That's the only thing I can't handle about it. I can handle the abstract vehicles. I like the random events. Perfect. All that stuff is right down my alley. I don't. I just don't like stuff. You just can't get a good shuffle better than a die roll. Maybe because I can't shuffle worth a shit. And I don't mind games that have cards, but I don't want it exclusively a card driven game where the combat is done by cards. I just don't like that. Some people gripe about it because they don't like the abstractness of it or the randomness. I like the randomness. Um, I'm going to roll my own dice, by God, you know? I had several of the games in this series of from Avalanche Press, their naval series games. I was going to use them as a generator for combat. But never really had anybody that was interested in playing it. But they had a wealth of scenarios. I have the Mediterranean one and the Bismarck one and the South Pacific one, which was the first one. This is such an ugly duckling of a vehicle. Well, I don't know if it's a duckling. It's just ugly. Oh, great. The 50's ammo box about to fall off. We'll mess that with that in due time. We'll have to add some metallic color to the 50 to make some of those details stand out. Let's see if I've got. Do I have a base down here? It's hard to complete. I feel like I should. Here we go. Let's just see how it looks like on the base color. And we'll have some grass on there. It is a rinky-dink little vehicle, for sure, for sure. Set up a board game, a live stream, and play games. That's too much work, man. It's just easier just to fly your ass down here. I love that computer game that I have. That's basically a board game, whatever the hell it's called. The Battle of the Bulge one, and then the Drive on Moscow. Those are great games. Okay, we're going to leave this M8 as it is. Now, let's go find a picture of this, and we're going to put some numbering on this joker. Let's go ahead and rinse this off. You hate flying the cabin pressure, hurts my ears too much. I hate the turbulence. We got some turbulence on the way back from Canada. I was not happy. Thank goodness I had a couple Jack Daniels in me. Not a fan. Okay, we have a C25 here. I don't want a number here and then a number back there. I want all the numbers together. We do have to put little pretend numbers there. Looks like they're all that way. A C and then 12. Okay. Fuck it, let's have some fun. I suspect I'm not going to be able to put yellow on directly. So let me get the yellow. We're going to need white. Too many ear problems as a kid. That's me. That's why I can't hear. Huh? Exactly. Oh, there's also a D11 down. Well, I got a star there in the way. Now we're good with the. So that one's a little dirty. Let's use one. I'm going to add a little bit of black to the white so we got like a gray color, because it'll cover better. Okay. And the 12 is like over this tire. And the 2 false start. I didn't want to go over that and paint into the gap. I don't know if this is going to look how I want it to look, and it's just going to be weird. And then I'm just not going to put these numbers on it, but there's a fair number of these. There's a dash that's sitting in the middle. All right, so we need to leave space. The C goes so that's what it looks like. Looks kind of weird. Well, let's just stay on it. And if it doesn't have the desired effect, well, we'll just do something else. I think it's going to actually look okay. Your company Trenchworks makes 28 millimeter resin M8 variant used in the movie Die Hard. There's an M8 in the Die Hard? That's really confusing. There's a howitzer motor carriage M8. There's the armored car M8. And remember, there used to be a rifle. There used to be a rifle that was going to replace the M16. I believe it was called the M8 as well. Actually, it looked pretty cool. They gave up on that. You know, I won't know until it's all put together. Because sometimes you're like, this doesn't look very good, and then you're done with it, like, man, it all came together well. Now, here's the catch. You ready for this? When you do it backwards, what's the other side look like? Certainly the C's not up here. Is the C down here and this 12 up here? Wild. I better look at some drawings. I didn't think about that. It's an M8 without the turret, but the hatch is made for use as Christmas gifts. Okay, so I've got to find... Okay, here's the Tamiya one, and it says C30, right? So it's the same thing. You got C and you got a number. So let's see if I can find the instructions for this, what the other side looks like. So I'm going to go visit the site and see if it shows, ooh, there's a Tamiya.com. $148th. All right, so let's go to ScaleMates. And we're going to go M8 armored car. And I'm going to go to the Tamiya one in 48 scale. And download the instructions. Okay, so they have the C up there and the 30, and they have it reversed. They have the C and then the 30 up there. Okay, fair enough. So we will do the same thing in reverse. And then the C is centered over this. H&K XM8. There you go, Kevin. They just gave up on it. I thought it was a cool looking rifle. I bet it was still 5.56, wasn't it? Old Glory's command decision line is light years better than Blue Moon. Wow. 5.56 NATO. As opposed to the other 5.56. What is it? 5.56 by 45 or something like that? I don't know. You could use that gun in several games. Let's see. Let's pull it up. See if I can remember what it is. XM8 rifle. Yeah, it looks cool. It looks really, really cool. Pretty cool. Futuristic is that G11. Remember when they were gonna? Oh, the Germans are gonna adopt the G11. I don't think they ever did. That just looked like a freaking Panzerfaust. If the Panzerfaust was a rifle, that's what it would look like. Ugly ass thing. got C12 there. And then we're going to make a fake number here. Don't need 90% sure as long as you can. Oh, has design shares stuff with the G36. Was canceled in 2005. It was adopted by the Royal Malaysian Navy for its Pascal Special Forces. All right, let's look how many serial numbers do we have on this M8? Whole slew of them. Take 7 again. Okay. No point in using a wet palette for things of this small amount. Yeah, sometimes things effectiveness and how things look are two different things. Sometimes you can have something that's pretty unattractive, but is pretty effective. I hate when there's a dried clog and the Vallejo paint all of a sudden pops out and takes a crap ton of paint from the bottle. Yep, it happens. Okay. Let's do the same thing on the other end. Okay. A little bit of a serial number there. Now, Now this little bastard. Let's see what kind of a serial number this one has. I would imagine similar. Okay. And I don't think I've seen Armored Cars for Normandy. Yep. Yep. And so's this guy. I don't think I've seen an M20 with any yellow numbers on it. At all. However, they do have this bridging thing. The bridging circle weight. Let's see if we can put that on there, add a little bit of a pop of color. Not the size of the headlight. Or is it bigger? It's a little bigger than the headlight. There's a 7 that goes in there. You plan on using the M8 for recon? Yep. Yeah, no, it's a perfect vehicle for a skirmish game because you could throw a grenade in there and it's bad. So, and it's just armed with a 50 caliber, you know, which it's only one machine gun, one light cannon. Wait for that to dry a little bit. The M8 get one as well? I believe it does. Just add something to give it a little pop of color, you know? Does it also get a 7? Looks like it. Okay. And I bet the M8 howitzer motor carriage gets it as well. A much larger number. If I see one here at a quick glance, if not, it won't get one. Yep, it gets 16 on it. It's on the fender. Of course, the fender goes a little bit farther south. Let's try putting it. Try putting it on there. Let's see what happens. That's true about grenades. When I was reenacting World War II as a German, I lobbed a fake grenade into passing M3 White Scout car and stopped Allied advance. Yeah. Yep. Those kind of vehicles are good for skirmish games. Something like a martyr. A martyr is good because it's got some anti-tank gun capability, but it can get in trouble. Half tracks. You know, you play something in a skirmish game that's like a King Tiger or something like that. If the enemy doesn't have a weapon that can do it, that do anything to it, then it's just kind of sitting there, just being a bullet sponge, and that's not good for play balance. You know. Now, I don't know how I'm gonna pull off these numbers, but here goes. glasses do I have on? Yeah, probably need to take my contacts out. I've cleaned that one up. 16. We better do the 6 first. Okay, we just need to pull the yellow dot in between the 6 there. And yeah, a little bit of white to give it some oomph. That'll work okay for now. See on the package stuff from package, they discovered 2 pieces of cardboard and fit together look like potato mash. She painted up as one. Club Enterprising craftsman made a potato mash out of wood on his lathe. It included the screw cap and pulling cord. It was a hard rule that you wear a helmet. No exceptions during the scenarios. Man, you love those M8 support vehicles. They're not the most attractive vehicles, but they have the charm. They have some charm to themselves, you know. I feel like this one needs some riding back here, but I don't see any evidence of any M20s that have that. Yeah, really, this is actually a little lower on the fender, but hey, there's no fender left. That's all we had. This one has cute little headlights. I'm gonna paint them all like they got headlights. How about that? Oh, this has got 2 headlights over here. Aha, so one on the end over here. Got it. When in doubt, figure it out. I shouldn't be doing this until it was freaking weathered. Oh well, maybe I won't botch it up. It's so small, it's not even really noticeable. Nope. Also nope. Yeah, this one will work. I don't know if it's the case on U.S. vehicles, but on Soviet vehicles, sometimes they just sprayed over the tools and stuff. I just don't do that. That's like just seems like sacrilege. It's an opportunity to have a little bit more stuff on there that's of a different color to show some interest. Iron Breaker. Yeah. How about this one over here? What do we got here? Lead Belcher. Modus. I think we're done with that one. Okay, we don't want to paint these tools on here. Until we weather this thing. Ambient fireplace. Don't you need a real one? Okay, right. Weathering. Just imagine how good looking these armored cars would be if they were Pumas. I like just about every armor. Almost every armored car is attractive. There's exceptions out there. I don't like staghounds. Staghounds have a funky ass turret. You and the funky ass turret. Who else has an ugly armored car? I don't want to wear their tires too much because I still want them to look like they're black, like the rubber. What am I going to build, paint next? The Stewarts. We're doing the Stewarts next, but it won't be today because shit, it's already 10:15 and I got to go to bed. So I don't oversleep like I did yesterday. I overslept my alarm. Not dreadfully so, but it cut into my playtime in the morning. Damn it. They painted this to us. Well, they're not. They're not finished. They're not finished to this level. Oh no! All these will end up looking pretty good. Especially because you can't just leave things drab. Gotta give them some personality. I'm not planning on doing any knocked out vehicles yet, but I'm certainly going to have enough holes left over to certainly do some of that. I'm going to save my burned out wrecks for the desert. Okay, now we get the lighter shade, which is Iraqi sand. Yeah, let's put this guy on a kind of the base color that it is. Name a couple views of Americans, Germans, and Russians that you don't have but want to get. For the Americans, it's got to be M10 tank destroyers. I just can't find ones that are affordable. Or that are affordable and have a breach. Definitely tank destroyers. For the Russians, I don't know that I have anything for the Russians that I want to get. U.S. tank destroyers and Studebaker trucks. Studebaker trucks are, you could find affordable ones. Just a couple. Even 4, not more than 4. Studebaker truck's actually a good looking truck, in my opinion. Russians? Maybe BT-7s, but they're just hard to come by. Germans, I don't think I have anything. I don't think I need I need to find a model of a King Tiger that has the separate tracks on it, and mold some of them with my with that stuff and make them for the ones that are on the side of the Pegasus ones that didn't come with any spare tracks on the side of the turrets or hooks for them to go. I mean, they just look weird. It's just those are really piss poor. But other than that, I don't think I need anything for the German. I have a shitload of German stuff. Can't help but collect that stuff. It's available everywhere. The German stuff's easy to find. Well, time will tell if we spray paint them how exactly they're going to look. You can't tell until they're sealed and until they're on stands and everything with the tufts. But so far, so good. I'm pretty happy with how these look. Um, God, this thing's huge. I'm gonna have to at some point get a fleet of trucks and staff cars for major combatants. You should check out a 3D printer and see if they have any of that stuff. I'm sure someone does it. Yeah, they're just. I don't need them badly enough. I did order something today I should not have, so should be coming in a couple weeks. You could check out what it is. I ain't telling you what it is, but it'll be something cool. It'll be something cool that if, but I'm not gonna 3D print my own shit. I don't have the, I don't have the personality type for that. That's a good way to get me to quit the hobby. I'd rather go back to do DBA stuff than print my own stuff. I just want somebody in the U.S. to print the stuff that I want. Not everything comes from England with the minimum prices. I want the freight, the shipping to start at $4, and then you can add a dollar for each additional item. I don't want to start. You start at like $15, $20 for shipping. No, I'm not going to order enough stuff for that to balance out. So, okay, well that's where we're at right now, and. Oh, we still got the shovel to paint. We're not going to leave that. We're not going to leave that done. I don't want the disappointment of starting to paint, get the 3D printer working, and then get all excited about what I'm going to do with it when it's done printing and I get home from work and then there was a misprint and I don't get to do what I get the rug pulled out from me, under me. I'm just anti rug pulled out from under me. I've never enjoyed it. It happens way too often these days. I am sure at some point you will paint DBA armies again, but maybe not play. Unlikely. It is unlikely I will. I am not playing a game that's as big as DBA again, ever. And I'm not going to play a tournament game ever again. And it's not because of bad sportsmanship people. It's that I don't want to play a game that if you're playing it and you encounter something that doesn't make sense, I don't want to be in a setting where we can solve the problem, but you can't because it's a tournament game. So therefore, you have to keep playing it wrong or keep playing it in a substandard way. I just don't want to go back to that. When something doesn't make sense, I want to change it or make it more clear, or, not just, well, we just have to keep fighting the same fight all the time. Okay. And I got like no World War II stuff done for 20 years. I got time to make up on that. This is just some things I just don't want to experience again. Organizing everything, doing all that work for people that say they're going to show up and then they don't show up. And meanwhile, I'm keeping myself from doing other things for people that don't, that all they got to do is show up and play. And they don't, and they say they're going to, and then they don't. Nope. I'm not getting held back by that anymore. Okay, well, this is where we're going to stop. And I don't know if we can. Let's try doing this. Take these off so I can see what's going on. I need the other one. This musical chair with reading glasses is a pain in the ass. I gotta mess with the 50s. I'm not really happy with how they look, but that's easy on the end. What other plastic soldier company kits do you have left to build? None, I don't think. I don't have any plastic soldier company stuff. No, I think the only thing I have left to build that I haven't started on is I have an Eschi Elephant. And what else do I have? I've got those T-26s by that Ukrainian company or Russian company or whatever to finish up. I got like 4 head of those. And I just want to do something a little different. Paint some American stuff. I was doing Russian, and Germans. Like, let's do something different. It's not like it's not like I'm not allowed to do that because I got to get them done by some, for some ridiculous game or something. So. Yeah, definitely a good set for skirmish gaming, no doubt. No doubt about it. Okay, folks, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys later on in the week, and enjoy what's left of your Monday. See you, folks. Thanks for stopping by.